So, hello students, welcome back to Vedantu NEET English. This is Basavaraj Sir, your biology master teacher. Now students, today's lecture is going to be very special because all of you are aware that morphology of flowering plants is a chapter, right? Morphology of flowering plants is a chapter where questions 90% of the time directly come from examples. And you know, if you're a biology student, right? If you're a biology student, remembering the examples for every single thing, aestivation, placentation, Adolphus condition, the examples of your root, stem, leaf modifications, it becomes a little difficult to remember. So that is the reason this is a session which you need right now to remember all those examples with very ease. Students, quickly let me know in the chat if I'm audible and visible to you, all of you. Quickly let me know in the chat, all of you, first of all. Quickly mark your attendance also, students. Quickly, all of you, mark your attendance by smashing the like button. Smash the like button and mark your attendance because we will be having an amazing session today. Okay, so we'll be doing all the different examples which you need to remember for amazing class. Okay, so students, can I ask all of you a simple thing to do? Okay, after today's class, I want everyone to please download this PDF, because this PDF will have an entire mind map, and with the help of this mind map you can remember the examples, you can remember the entire chapter, so which will help you with the help of a quick revision also. So please download the PDF, download the notes, Telegram channel Basavaraj Sir Biology and Vedantu NEET English, and this entire mind map will be available for free for all of you. Okay, one second students, increase the volume. I think it is at maximum volume, students. I think it's at maximum volume already. Should I increase more? I think it is at maximum volume. Let me just check in the phone. Scam. It is already proper. The volume is fine only. Okay. Now, students, the first thing I want all of you to ask is a flower, right? A flower. Now, can anyone tell me, do you find flowers in the case of gymnosperms? Yes or no? Quickly in the chat, all of you. Tell me, do you find flowers in the case of gymnosperms? Quickly tell me. Do you find flowers in gymnosperms? You're like, no, sir. You will not find flowers in the gymnosperms. Flowers are exclusively found in the case of angiosperms, and it has always been the case. And that is why your angiosperms are called as what? Flowering plants. Angiosperms are called as what? Flowering plants. But what exactly is a flower, students? What exactly is a flower? So the answer is very simple. The answer is very simple, students. Flower is nothing but a modified. It is a modified shoot. Yes or no? Tell me, students. It is a modified shoot. Okay, sir, you'll tell me it is a modified shoot. Okay. It is a modified shoot. Now, what exactly happens in the flower? The shoot apical meristem. The shoot apical meristem gets converted to. It gets converted to floral meristem. Gets converted to floral meristem. Okay. Now, students, what is the function of a flower? What exactly is the function of a flower? If I ask you a very simple question, you will tell me, sir, a flower is very much required for a flower to reproduce. Can anyone tell me, if there is no flower, can the plant still reproduce? Quickly think of a way that can we produce seeds without flower? The answer is yes. That is your apomixis and parthenocarpy, production of fruits and seeds without fertilization. But generally speaking, you cannot make seeds or fruits without fertilization. You cannot do that. You cannot do that at all. Okay. Now, students, remember, so flower is needed. Flower is needed in sexual reproduction. It is needed in sexual reproduction. That is very simple to understand, because your flower is a reproductive unit. A flower is a reproductive unit. Reproductive unit. Flower is a reproductive unit. Done. It is a reproductive unit. Now, students, what are the different parts of a flower, right? Okay, what are the different parts of a flower now? There are multiple parts of a flower, right? For example, if I have to ask you, what are the 4 different whorls? First is the outermost whorl. Can anyone tell me which is the outermost whorl in the case of plants? It is green color looking. It looks like a leaf. It protects the plants in the bud stage. The outermost whorl is called as your calyx. outermost word is called as calyx. Then after calyx, students, this is the calyx. After calyx, we have the corolla, then we have the andrecium, and then we have the gynoecium. Now, what is calyx made up of? Calyx is made up of sepals, while your corolla is made up of petals. Andrecium is made up of your stamen, and your pistil, gynoecium is made up of pistil. That much all of you know, very basic, chotu mutu basics it is. Very easy for all my students. Okay, very easy for all my students. The next thing which you need to understand here is something called as essential words and non-essential words. Now, what is the essential word, students? Essential word is a word which, such as andrecium and gynoecium, which are directly involved in reproduction. Without andrecium and gynoecium, reproduction is not possible at all. Directly involved in reproduction. Now, what is non-essential words? Calyx and corolla, they have an indirect role. For example, corolla will help in attracting the pollinators. Okay, indirect role. All of you know this much basics, all of you know. Okay. Now, students, the next thing which you need to understand here is that first tricks coming up. Something called as symmetry in a flower. Symmetry in a flower. Now, for example, all of you, hold a flower in your hand. Imagine you're holding a flower in your hand. And in this flower, you're supposed to break the flower into multiple parts. You have a flower in your hand. Cut the flower into halves. For example, see here. You take a flower, you're cutting it into multiple halves. Okay. For example, one flower is there. You can cut into half in only one plane. Okay, that is also there. Or then we have one flower which you cannot cut into any half at all. So based on the how many times you can cut the flower into two equal half in how many planes, that we have something called as your symmetry. Here we have something called as your symmetry. Now based on the symmetry, students, based on the symmetry, we have something called as actinomorphic, zygomorphic and asymmetrical. The first one is called as what? Actinomorphic. Actinomorphic. Then we have your zygomorphic. Zygomorphic. And then we have your asymmetrical. Asymmetrical. Then we have your asymmetrical. Okay. Now what is the difference? What exactly is the difference between all three of them? What is the difference between actinomorphic, zygomorphic and asymmetrical? Very simple difference, understand. Very simple difference, understand, students. Very simple difference. One by one you want to focus. See, in the case of actinomorphic, that is, if a flower can be divided, it can be divided into two equal halves, in any plane, two equal half, okay, in any radial plane, it is called as your actinomorphic. For example, students, see this. If you see this flower, you can cut it in this plane, you can cut it in this plane, you can also cut it in this plane. Chop, like fruit ninja. Okay, you can cut it in any plane. That is called as your actinomorphic. Now, students, here is the thing. In examination, they will never ask you what is actinomorphic, what is zygomorphic, what is asymmetrical. They will always ask you the examples. Always ask you the examples, and that is where many students struggle. Okay, now students, you tell me, how many of you like McDonald's? How many of you like McDonald's? Okay, now to get the McDonald's into your house, not very easy. Your mother will tell you, eat the normal food only in the house. But if you want McDonald's, what do? You do some acting in the class, in the house. Like, mummy, I'm not feeling well today, I want McDonald's. I want to eat McDonald's. You'll do some nice acting. Very simple example again. So the example for actinomorphic, that is, you act here to get McDonald's. You act here to get something called as McDonald's. MCD. Now what is MCD, students? MCD is very simple. MCD stands for, M stands for mustard. M stands for mustard. C stands for chili. C stands for chili, and D stands for datura. D stands for datura. D stands for datura. So mustard, chili, datura are the three examples for your actinomorphic. Actinomorphic. Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me, students. So what is actinomorphic, students? Actinomorphic is where you take a flower, divide into any plane, 2 equal half in any plane, that is called as your actinomorphic. Now trick is what? MCD, mustard, chili, datura is the example for actinomorphic. Done? Done all of you? Done? Will you remember it? All of you will remember it, right? Very good, very good. Now students, I want everyone to understand, in examination sometimes they can give you alternative name. They can give you a alternative name. Now what is the meaning of alternative name, students, here? For example, in examination sometimes instead of actinomorphic they can also call it radial symmetry. They can also call it as what? Radial symmetry. So please remember the alternative name. Okay, alternative name. Similarly, zygomorphic also has an alternative name, that is called as bilateral symmetry. It is called as what? Bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry. Now understand, students, what exactly happens in the case of zygomorphic. Now here I told you, if a flower can be divided into 2 equal half in any plane, cut like this, cut like this, cut like this, anywhere you cut it, chop, it will be actinomorphic. But in the case of zygomorphic, what happens? Understand. In the case of zygomorphic, same thing. But in only one plane, that is called as your zygomorphic. Understand. See here, this flower right here, I can cut it this way. Only in one plane. If I cut it this way, what happens is, this 2 petals are smaller, these 2 petals are larger, so you cannot happen. So you can cut the flower into 2 halves in only one plane, and that is called as your zygomorphic. Only in one plane. Yeah, dosa is circular. Dosa you can cut in any plane, unless you make masala dosa. Masala dosa can be only cut in one plane. See, if you make normal dosa in the house, it is round. You can always cut it in any plane, normal dosa. Now all of you know, in the hotel, how do they make masala dosa? In the hotel, they make masala dosa something like this, right? Something like this. When masala dosa looks like something like this, you can usually cut it only this way. Okay, only one plane. Or sometimes what happens is, this side is bigger. It obviously won't be like this. This side will be somewhere bigger. See, it will be like something like one round will come here. Okay. Now this is a weird masala dosa where you can cut only in one plane. Okay, not also on one plane now. You can't even cut it in one plane now, because this will be bigger, this will be smaller. This becomes asymmetrical now. Special dosa becomes asymmetrical. Okay. So understand, actinomorphic, radial symmetry, zygomorphic, bilateral symmetry. Okay, bilateral symmetry. Oh my god, dosa. Yes, dosa theory. Now students, what is your example? Example again. Now students, I have a friend called as Zach now. Okay. Zach, please bring me coffee. What is the trick here, students? Zach, please bring me coffee. That is, Zach, please bring good coffee. Good coffee. Please bring good coffee. Now what is Z stands for? Z stands for zygomorphic. Now what does P stands for, students? The P stands for P. The P stands for P here. I'll write here with different color so you can identify. The P stands for P. Okay. Now what is B stands for? B stands for bean. Bean. Now what is G stands for? G stands for gulmohar. G stands for gulmohar. G stands for gulmohar. And then what is your C? C stands for cassia. C stands for cassia. Done. Done, students. So what is the small trick here, students? What is the small trick here? The small trick here is, Zach, please bring me good coffee. That is P zygomorphic, P bean, gulmohar and cassia. P bean, gulmohar and cassia. That is, Zach, please bring me good coffee. Small trick to remember. Very simple, very easy. Now students, last one is called as asymmetrical. That is your weird dosa. You cannot divide it in any plane. For example, I'll show you an example. See this, students. I'll show you an example. See this. See this example now, all of you. Now, see this flower. See this flower. And weird muti it has, right? You cannot divide in any plane. You cannot divide in any plane. So Chinda, understand, even orchids are very different. Many orchids you cannot divide in any plane, asymmetrical. Some orchids you can divide in zygomorphic. Okay. Now this one is your 𝐂𝐤. This one is your 𝐂𝐤 asymmetrical. 𝐂𝐤. 𝐂𝐤 is a flower which you cannot divide in any plane. This divide in radial, this plane, not possible. Any plane, how much ever you try, not possible at all for the 𝐂𝐤. Okay. So asymmetrical done and dusted, all of you in the chat now. Symmetry done and dusted in the chat, all of you. Symmetry is done and dusted now. Now I'll give you quick examples. See here. Actinomorphic is MCD, McDonald's, mustard, chili, datura. Here, Zach, please bring me coffee. That is, Zach, please bring good coffee. Good coffee. That is going to be zygomorphic, P, bean, gulmohar and cassia. All the flowers given on the board. Done and dusted. Now students, the next thing which you need to understand here is going to be something called as hypogynous, epigynous and perigynous. That is, you're trying to distribute, you're trying to classify the different types of flower based on the position of ovary. Now, if the ovary is superior, you have one name. If the ovary is inferior, you have one more name. If the ovary is half inferior, you have one more name. Understand? Very, very important. Examples are the key here again, and diagram also. Because in your NEET 2024, if you see your NEET 2024, you got a question like this. Can you see here? This was a question given in your NEET 2024. And I'm very sure many students who were writing the examination that time would have gone wrong here. Why? Because you know what is perigynous, you know what is epigynous, you know what is hypogynous, but you did not learn the diagram. And surprisingly, okay, NTA was very, very smart here, very cunning and very smart. They made sure they give you the same example. See here. See this diagram, students. Can you see here? These two, B and C, rim of the thalamus. Okay. The same example was given in your examination, direct ditto question. Okay. So don't ignore any of the following. Everything is very, very critical here. Very, very critical. Okay. Now one by one we'll go. We'll understand first of all what is your hypogynous condition now. What is hypogynous condition? Now students, understand hypo. In the case of hypogynous condition, the ovary is situated on the top. Ovary is taking the top place here. See here, the gynoecium occupies highest position. That is, ovary is superior. Can you see? This is the entire flower. And if you see the entire flower, the ovary is on the top and everything else is below it. Now in this kingdom, queen is the main role. Queen will rule everything. Okay. So queen is on the top. That is, ovary is on the top, and all the other, that is your calyx, corolla, androecium, everything is coming from below. Can you see, students? I hope you're able to see this. Can you see? The diagram is very important to understand. I hope you're able to see right now. Okay, see this. The gynoecium is occupying the highest position, and every other wall, it could be your androecium, corolla, calyx, everything is coming from below. So that is called as what? That is called as your hypogynous condition. That is called as your hypogynous condition. I hope that is clear. So understand, with the help of diagram, you will never go wrong. Okay. Remember, with the help of diagram. Okay. Now here, ovary is said to be superior. The ovary is superior. So what is the symbol, students? If this is the stage, for example, this is the stage right here. Now tell me, students, will the queen sit on the stage or below the stage? This is the chair here. Imagine this is the throne. This is the throne right here. Throne. Over here, I'm telling you, superior. So will she sit on top of it or below it? Obviously on top of it. So gynoecium is superior. Ovary is superior. Sitting on the top, no one can stop her. Now this is called as hypogynous condition. This is called as your hypogynous condition. Now the small trick here. The small trick to remember the examples. Examples very important. That is, hero must have brinjal. The hero must have brinjal. Hero must have brinjal. Now, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Understand, students. All of you understand. H stands for hypogynous. The H stands for hypogynous. H stands for hypogynous. Okay. H stands for hypogynous. The M stands for mustard. M stands for mustard. The H stands for, students, the H stands for your hibiscus. Hibiscus. And the brinjal stands for brinjal. The brinjal stands for brinjal. The hero must have brinjal. Hypogynous condition, mustard, hibiscus, and brinjal. Mustard, hibiscus, and brinjal. Clear, all of you? Tell me, is it easy or not? Tell me, students. Tell me, is it easy or not? So in this chapter, main thing is going to be remember. Okay, remember the examples. That is all I want from all of you. Okay, done. Now, students, that is called as hypogynous condition. Hypogynous condition, mustard, hibiscus, or China rose, and brinjal. Done. Okay. Next is called as perigynous condition. Perigynous condition. Okay. Now, this is a kingdom where queen and king are at the same level. Queen and king are at the same level here. Equal importance is given to all of them. Equal importance. King and queen, equal importance. Understand what is happening here? Gynoecium is situated at the center. The most important point of all. Gynoecium is at the center now. Not on the top, not on the bottom, right in the middle. Gynoecium is right in the middle here. The calyx, corolla, and andrecium are located at the rim of the thalamus at the same level. Now, what is the meaning of rim of thalamus? Understand. I'll enlarge the diagram for you. See here. I hope diagram is visible, students. Understand. Very important, very critical. Don't buy out any of it. This is your thalamus. See, this is your ovary. This is the entire thing is called as thalamus. This entire thing is called as thalamus. Yes or no? It is thalamus. Okay. Now, in this thalamus, this part is called as rim. Rim of thalamus. Rim means the edge. Rim also means the edge of thalamus. Edge of thalamus. Now, if you can notice here, at the rim of the thalamus, your andrecium, as well as your corolla, as well as the calyx here, the calyx, all the different worlds are arising from the rim of the thalamus. Arising from the rim of the thalamus. At the same level as the gynoecium. At the same level as the gynoecium. All of you understanding, yes or no? All of you understanding, yes or no? Tell me, students. This is called as your perigynous condition. This is called as your perigynous condition. Okay, perigynous condition. Perigynous condition. Okay, so the main point here is center and location of other worlds. The ovary is said to be half inferior now, not inferior, half inferior, and represented by a symbol. Now tell me, students, if this is the throne now, if this is the throne right here, will I keep the ovary on top of it or below it? Tell me, it is half inferior, it is not inferior. Superior will go on top, inferior will come on bottom. Superior will go on top, inferior will come on bottom. Half inferior at the same level. So if this is the gynoecium, this is the symbol of perigynous condition. Perigynous condition. Okay. Now, students, what is the trick here? Trick is very simple again. The trick is very simple. Ready for the trick? How many of you know my trick, students? Tell me in the chat. How many of you know my trick, which I always use? Exactly, Madhumita. People pluck pink roses. Exactly, that is people pluck pink roses. People pluck pink roses. Now, what does the P stand for, students? The P stands for perigynous condition. Perigynous condition. Perigynous condition. Now, the second P here stands for your plum. Plum. Now, second P stands for, students, can anyone tell me? The P stands for peaches. Peaches. And roses stands for roses. Stands for roses. So people pluck pink roses, perigynous condition, plum, peaches and roses. Done. That is all. That is all you need to remember, students. It's very, very easy to remember the examples. And let me tell you, students, I want everyone to download the notes and make a tabular column where you write down these tricks and see them every single day. If not every single day, alternate days. I'll tell you why. If you don't remember the tricks, if you don't practice the tricks in examination, the trick will become tricky and you will not remember the trick at all. You'll get confused. So having trick is good, but what is more important? Practicing the trick is even more important. And the best way to practice the trick is by solving examples. So pick up a question, apply the trick, solve the question. So when you keep doing that, you will remember it for a longer time. Okay. So we have your plum, roses and peaches. Peaches is missing. Next one is called as epigynous condition. Epigynous condition. Now sad story, students. Sad story. In the epigynous condition, what is happening? The queen does not have any voice here. The queen does not have any voice. The queen is inferior here. The queen is inferior. Okay. So what is happening here? Calyx, corolla and androecium are above the ovary. Diagram very important. Again, see the diagram. Diagram you see, all of you focus. I'm focusing the diagram. All of you can see the diagram. Now if you notice here, this right here is the ovary. This right here is the ovary. Yes or no? This is the ovary right here. Ovary. Now all of you can notice that the ovary has been completely engulfed. The ovary, which is present in the middle, has been completely covered by the other walls. Ovary is in the center. It has been completely covered by the sepals, corolla and androecium. So androecium is on the top, corolla is on the top, that is corolla, calyx also is in the top, ovary is in the bottom. Inferior ovary, students, inferior ovary. Okay, so in ovary has been completely engulfed, completely covered by the other walls here. It is called as inferior ovary, students. It's called as what? Inferior ovary. Okay, so ovary is inferior and represented by the symbol. So students, tell me, what should be the symbol right now? If this is the throne, if this is a throne right here, throne. Okay, now tell me, is the gynoecium on the top or bottom? Now tell me students, is the gynoecium on the top or bottom? It should be on the bottom right here. Now what is the trick here, students? How many of you know my trick? Raise your hands. How many of you know my trick? Very simple trick which I have always been using. It's very effective also. Epic Sunny goes camping, or Epic Sunny goes camping, or Eric and Sunny goes camping. Anything goes. That is Epic Sunny. Epic Sunny goes camping. Epic Sunny goes camping. Now what does your E stands for? The E stands for epigynous. Epigynous condition. Epigynous condition. Epigynous condition. Now what does S stands for? Can anyone tell me? What is the S here? The S here is sunflower. The S here is sunflower. Now what is G? G is guava. The G is going to be guava. And what is C here? The C stands for cucumbers. Cucumber. See here? Guava, sunflower and cucumber. Now here students, in sunflower it is technically the ray florets. Ray florets. It is all technically the ray florets. Remember that. Okay. So this is the trick for your Epic Sunny goes camping epigynous. Perigynous is people pluck pink roses. Hypogynous is going to be hero must have brinjal, to remember the examples. Done. Done, students. This is the diagram given. This is your hypogynous. Ovary is on the top. Ovary is on the top here. Okay. Hypogynous. These two are perigynous. This is completely covered. Can you see? Ovary has been completely covered by the other words. Epigynous. Epigynous. Okay. Epigynous. And tell me the answer to this question, students. Can anyone tell me answer to this question right here on the board? All of you. What is the answer? That is, identify the types of flower based on the position of calyx, corolla and androecium with respect to ovary from the given figure. Okay. Now can you see the ovary is in the center right here. not on the top, not on the bottom, not on the top, not on the bottom. At the same time, the other whorls are coming from the rim of thalamus. This is the rim, gym. Okay. So from the rim of thalamus, all the other whorls are coming out. So can I technically call it now? Perigynous, both are perigynous, Now look at this question, students. Again from NEET 2024, very recent question. Okay. Which of the following is an example of actinomorphic flower? ACT, you're doing ACT for McDonald's. MCD, right? MCD, mustard, chili, and datura. So what is the answer here? Datura is given right here. Can you see? Datura is given right here. So mustard, chili, datura. So datura is the answer. Okay. Next question, see this. Identify the zygomorphic. What is the trick for zygomorphic, students? Zach, please bring good coffee. Please bring good coffee. Okay, that is zygomorphic. Pea, bean, gulmohar, and cassia. Yes, cassia. So here we have mustard, no. Gulmohar is there. Cassia is there. So BNC. BNC is the answer. Yes or no? BNC is the answer. Done. BNC is the answer. Okay. So students, that is the end. That is the end of your hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. Now, do you have an idea how the question can be asked to you? Directly, if you know the examples, question will be asked very directly. Nothing indirect here, nothing indirect. Very rarely indirect they'll ask you. But most of the time, question will be directly asked from examples. Okay. Now students, can we start the next one now? Can we start with the next topic that is called as estivation? Can we start? Can we start, students? Yes, yes, sir. Friends, till now, any doubt? Quickly ask me, students. Any doubt till now? Anyone? Any doubt till now? Quickly ask me. Till now, any doubt? Anyone? No doubt? No doubt, right? Amazing. Now, students, the next concept is called as estivation. Next concept is called as what? Estivation. Now, what exactly is going to be called estivation? What exactly happens in estivation? Estivation is nothing but, students, estivation is nothing but arrangement of petal or sepal with respect to each other. That's all. So, how the petal is going to be arranged? You arrange, right, in your house, you arrange some flowers, you arrange your pillows, okay, which way the pillow should be. You arrange your books, or you take one book and you divide chemistry, physics, biology. So arrangement, basically arrangement is happening. So in estivation, we see the arrangement of petal or sepal with respect to each other. Petal, sepal, sepals. And how are they arranged? There's a pattern. To identify the pattern, that is called as estivation. Understand, students? Now, estivation, there are multiple types. For example, I'll show you. We have something called as your valvate estivation, twisted estivation, imbricate estivation, and vexillary estivation. 4 different types of estivation which you need to remember, and examples. Examples very important again. Now, students, I'll teach you the concept one by one. And then I'll help you with the example. Can we start? Students? Can we start? What? No energy on chat only, students. No energy only, no. Early morning, we should be heavy energetic. Early morning, breakfast is done. Stomach is full. Okay. So full energy should be shown in the class. Okay. So the first thing which you need to understand here is the valvate estivation. Now, in the case of valvate estivation, answer is called as margin. If you look at this particular valvate estivation, look at the margins, students. Look at the margins. Can you see here? All the petals are just touching on the margin and they are not overlapping at all. Just margin to margin touch. Can you see? Like this. This is one petal. This is one more petal. They're just touching the melp of margin. But they're not overlapping. Just touching the margins. So when sepals or petals in a wall just touch one another at the margin. That is called as your valvate aestivation. That is called as what? Valvate aestivation. Now, what is the trick here, students? Can anyone tell me? Very simple trick which I always told you for your valvate aestivation. Anyone? Valvate chair or velvet chair? Yes or no? What is the trick here? The trick here is going to be valvate chair. Valvate chair. Now, what is this? Valvate for valvate aestivation. Valvate for valvate aestivation, and C for calotropis. C for calotropis. Yes or no? C for calotropis. C for calotropis. Calotropis. Very simple, valvate aestivation. Next one. See, this is the calotropis. All of you know calotropis, right? In the background, in the garden will be growing randomly. No cow or goat or sheep will go and eat it because it has some form of milky latex producing. No one will eat it. Very safe it is. Very safe. Next thing is called as twisted aestivation. Very simple to understand. See this. In the case of twisted aestivation, can you see one petal is overlapping? This petal right here is overlapping with this petal. This petal is overlapping. So they are in an alternate fashion. In an alternate fashion, they are overlapping on one another. So if this is one petal, second petal will be on the top of it. This petal will be on bottom of it. So they are in an overlapping structure, overlapping on one another. That is called as your twisted aestivation. That is, if one margin of the appendage overlaps on the next one and so on is called as your twisted aestivation. So twisted or alternate overlapping. Twisted or alternate overlapping. The trick is very simple, students. What is the trick here? The trick here is lady from China has a twisted cotton. Lady from China has a twisted cotton. Has a twisted cotton. Yes or no? Okay. Now here, now what is L? The L stands for lady's finger. The L stands for lady's finger. Lady finger. China for China rose. China for China rose. Okay. China for China rose. And what is twisted? Twisted for twisted aestivation. Twisted aestivation. Cotton for cotton. Cotton for cotton. So what are the examples? Lady's finger, China rose, cotton. Three different examples. Lady's finger, China rose, cotton. Lady from China has a twisted cotton. I hope all of you will remember this. I hope all of you will remember it. That is called as twisted aestivation. Next, see this China rose, lady's finger, cotton. Now, if you zoom this, can you see? They are in an alternating fashion. One petal is overlapping on other petal. Overlapping. Alternatively, they are overlapping. You can see in the cotton also. In the case of cotton also, it's very clearly visible. Can you see in the case of cotton, it is even more clearly visible in the case of cotton. Can you see here? This petal is overlapping on next petal, and you can see inside also there's a crease formation overlapping on one another. That is in the case of cotton. Next thing is called as imbricate aestivation. Imbricate aestivation is just like your twisted with a small change. Now, what is the small change here, students? What is the small change here? If you can notice in imbricate aestivation, they are overlapping. In the case of imbricate aestivation also there is overlapping, but the overlapping is not in a particular order. Random overlapping is there. And if you can notice here, students, this petal is completely on the inside. And at the same time, this petal right here is completely on the outside. Okay. Outside. So completely inside, completely outside. Rest everything is overlapping. That is called as your imbricate aestivation. That is, if the margins of petals or sepals overlap one another, but not in any particular direction. Or order. They are just overlapping on each other. One is completely inside, one is completely on the outside. Now, what is the trick here, students? Trick is very simple. Imbricate, advocate. Imbricate, imbricate rhymes with advocate. Okay. So advocate fights gun cases. Gun cases. Okay. So what is your advocate? Imbricate. Imbricate, advocate. So imbricate, G for 𝐤𝐿 and C for 𝐂𝐤. Okay. 𝐤𝐿 and 𝐂𝐤. 𝐤𝐿 and 𝐂𝐤. 𝐤𝐿 and 𝐂𝐤. Now, students, one question can arise from here. Can anyone name a flower which is zygomorphic and imbricate estivation? Anyone? Can anyone name one flower which is zygomorphic symmetry and also at the same time imbricate estivation? Go. Name the flower. Okay. Question also can come like that. See, right now we know 𝐤𝐿 and 𝐂𝐤 is your imbricate estivation. At the same time, do you remember? At the same time, we also learned that your 𝐤𝐿 and 𝐂𝐤 are also type of zygomorphic. So sometimes what happens in examination, they can mix and match. And they can give you. This is your 𝐂𝐤, this is your 𝐤𝐿. Okay. Very easy. Yes or no? Very easy to understand. Yes. Now, next one is called as your vexillary estivation. Next one is called as what? Vexillary estivation. So what exactly happens in the case of vexillary estivation? Understand. Vexillary estivation is a little different. Vexillary estivation is little bit different. Okay. So what exactly happens in vexillary estivation? Understand, students. Understand. In the case of vexillary estivation, students, we have something called as 3 different types of petals. The one on the outer side, is called as your standard or posterior. It's called as standard. Now, what about the middle one? The middle one is called as wings to fly. Okay, they're called as wing. And the innermost petal which is fused together, that is called as keel. This is called as what? Keel. It is called as what? Keel. And if you see the arrangement, that is basically 1 standard plus 2 wing plus 2 keel which are fused together. This is called as your vexillary estivation, also papilionaceous corolla. Okay, vexillary estivation, also called as papilionaceous corolla. Okay, so this is mainly found. Where do you find it, students? Where do you find it? Can anyone tell me? What is the example for this one? I'll give you a small clue. It was one of the examples of your zygomorphic also. It was one of the examples of zygomorphic. Same example is given here also. Can anyone tell me now? What is the example of vexillary estivation? They're also part of zygomorphic. Okay, they're also part of zygomorphic. Where do I write it? I'll just erase this. This one I'll write here. Very simple, students. BP vaccine. Trick is very simple. BP vaccine. Okay. B stands for bean. And P stands for P. So are they also example of zygomorphic? Yes, they are also example of zygomorphic examples. Okay. So bean and P, that is BP vaccine for vexillary estivation. Bean and P. Okay. So all of them are done. I'll give you a small recap, friends. Velvet is velvet chair, calotropis, done. Twisted, lady from China has a twisted cotton. Lady's finger, China rose, cotton. Next one was imbricate estivation. Advocate fight gun cases, 𝐤𝐿 and 𝐂𝐤, imbricate estivation. Done. Next thing was your basically vexillary estivation, BP vaccine, bean and P are the 2 examples of Vexillary aestivation. Done. Now here is the question, quickly go. Let's see how many of you can solve this question. Oh, this is placentation. Okay. This question will come back later. Placentation will come back later. Okay. Read this question, students. Read this question. All of you read this question. Read, quickly read. The question is very simple. It says that in Calotropis, aestivation is. In Calotropis, what is the aestivation? Calotropis was what? Velvet chair, velvet aestivation. Velvet aestivation. Okay. So similarly, I have given very less questions. I have given very less question, but remember, you will get many questions based on examples. Many questions based on examples. Okay. Now, students, the next concept is also very important. That is called as your fusion of andrecium. Okay, or fusion of stamen. Actually, technically speaking, fusion of stamen. Ready, all of you? Ready? Tell me. Ready, all of you? Fusion of stamen. Can I teach you now, students? Can we start? Yes, sir. We can start. Now, students, understand. There are two types of fusion of stamen here. Sometimes what happens is the stamen is fusing with other stamen. Sometimes what is happening is stamen is fusing with petal or tepal. Understand? Now there is something called as epiphyllous condition. There is something called as your epiphyllous condition. Epiphyllous condition. Now what exactly happens in the case of epiphyllous condition, students? Epiphyllous condition. In the case of your epiphyllous condition, what is happening? Stamen is fusing with tepal. Stamen plus tepal. Now, what is the tepal, students? What is the tepal? Tepal is nothing but petal plus sepal. Petal plus sepal is called as a tepal. Tepal. When stamen and tepal fuse together, we get epiphyllous condition. We get what? Epiphyllous condition. This is your representation perianth and A, and they're fusing together. And the example is lily. The example is lily as a simple example. That is epiphyllous condition. Epiphyllous condition. Okay. Tepal plus petal. And there is one more condition, students. There is one more condition, understand. That is called as your epipetalous condition. It's called as what? Epipetalous condition. Now, what exactly happens in the case of epipetalous condition? Understand. Very simple again. Very simple. In this case, stamen is fusing with stamen plus petal. Stamen plus petal is called as epipetalous condition. It is called as what? Epipetalous condition. Petal and andrecium, they're fusing together. They're fusing together. Example is brinjal. Example is brinjal. Example is going to be brinjal. So remember, students, epiphyllous condition, epipetalous condition, both are very important. Both are very important. Now, students, there is one more thing, something called as polyandrous condition, monoadalphous, diadalphous. Okay, polyadalphous condition. What is that? Understand. Okay, first we'll understand something called as polyandrous condition. Polyandrous condition. Polyandrous condition. So what exactly is happening in the case of polyandrous condition? In the case of polyandrous condition, the stamen is completely free. Stamen is free completely. Polyandrous condition. Okay. Now, what exactly is happening in the case of adalphous condition, students? What exactly is happening in the case of adalphous? In adalphous condition. Now, understand the diagram. Understand the diagram, all of you. What exactly is happening in case of adalphous condition? This is your anther, bilobed anther. Okay, bilobed anther. Okay, and then we have filament. Okay, we have filament. So in the case of adalphous condition, okay, in the case of adalphous condition, only and only what is fusing? Only filaments. Only filaments are fusing. Only filaments are fusing. That is called as your adalphous condition. Adalphous condition. Can you see? Filaments are fused here. Can you see this point right here? At this point right here, all the filaments are fusing like this. They're fusing like this. That is called as adalphous condition. Adalphous condition. Now students, there is something called as monoadalphous. Adalphous condition has something called as monoadalphous, diadalphous, and polyadalphous. Now what is the difference? If all the filaments are fused into a single bundle, monoadalphous. All the filaments are joined into two bundles. For example, see this. Here you have one filament separate and rest of the filaments are joined in a one bundle. All the filaments are joined in one bundle. Can you see? This is one bundle and this is second one. So arranged in two bundles is called as diadalphous condition. Poly means what? Poly means arranged into multiple bundles, multiple different bundles. That is called as polyadalphous condition. Polyadalphous condition. Okay. So mono, di, poly. This is your polyandrous. It's called as free. Stamen is free. See, brinjal flower, brinjal. Okay. This is epipetalous condition in brinjal. Epipetalous. If you can see the diagram here, students, if you can see the diagram here, all the stamen is fused with the petal. It is completely fused with the petal here. Fused with the petal. Epipetalous condition. Okay. Epipetalous condition. This is lily. Lily has epiphyllous condition. Epiphyllous condition with tepal. Okay. This is not given in NCERT, so let's skip this. Okay. So what is mono? Example is very simple again. In monoadalphous, the example is China rose. China rose. In diadalphous condition, we have the pea plant. Polyadalphous condition, we have citrus. Citrus, pea, and China rose. Citrus, pea, and China rose are the three different examples given here. Students, tell me, is botany difficult to understand? Is botany really difficult? No, right? Botany is all about understanding the plants and seeing one by one how it looks diagrammatically. If you see the diagram and remember the examples, no one can stop you from scoring good marks in botany. All of you, yes or no? No. Yes. China rose. Now I'll ask you one more question, students. This was also a NEET PYQ. Name the plant which is showing vexillary estivation and also diadalphous condition. Understand? Question is very simple. Name the plant which is showing diadalphous condition at the same time vexillary estivation. Can anyone tell me? One plant is there. That is your pea plant. Diadalphous condition, vexillary estivation. Okay. Now students, can anyone solve this question? Monoadalphous we learned China rose. Yes. So A is going to be 4. Okay. A is going to be 4. Okay. China rose. Diadalphous we learned just now is the pea plant. Okay. Polyadalphous we learned as citrus. Epiphyllous condition, tepal plus stamen plus tepal. That is lily. So what is the answer? A is 4, B is 2, only option number 4. So in examination, you will get such easy questions, very easy questions. If you know the examples, then only it will be easy. If you don't know the examples, Govinda. Okay. Now next question you see. In pea plant, so vexillary estivation. The 5 petals are arranged in a specialized manner. 1 plus 2 plus 2 arrangement. Okay. 1 posterior, 2 lateral, and 2 anterior. These are named as, what is the name? Outer part is called as your standard. Then we have wing. Then we have keel. Standard, wing, and keel. Okay. Standard, wings, and keel. Option number 4. It's a question from NEET 2023. 23 question. Okay. See this question now. Which of the following plants shows vexillary estivation and diadalphous condition? NEET 2022 question. All of you know it is Python sativum, also called as your pea plant. Python sativum or pea plant. Done. So students, that is the end of your estivation as well as your estivation. Entire estivation is done. As well as your adalphous condition, done. Okay. Now till now it is very easy. Now we come towards the end of the class. Okay. we didn't know, I don't want to keep this class very long and you'll not be able to focus on what to study, what not to study. It's a very short class which will help you to help in quick revision. Now the question is, students, do you also want a quick revision of all the modifications also? See, the questions can come from there. Root modification, stem modification, leaf modification, many questions can come from there also. So let me know in the chat if you know, if you need a class for that also, modifications. Okay. Now that aside, one more part of the chapter where a lot of questions will come from is called as your placentation. It is called as your placentation, where many questions come from. Okay. Now, before you understand placentation, before you actually understand placentation, you need to understand something called as your, what is the difference between a pistil and a carpel? Pistil and a carpel. Okay, understand students. This is my entire hand, right? This is called as your, entire thing is called as your pistil. Okay, since like how a hand has many fingers, right? Similarly, a pistil will have many carpels. Here. So if, tell me students, if there are many carpels, what do you call them? If there are many carpels, what do you call it? It's given on the NCERT also, I guess. If there are many carpels, what do you call them? Multicarpellary. Okay, multicarpellary. If there is a single carpel, monocarpellary. If it is multicarpellary condition, if all the carpels are going to be completely fused, what do you call that? Syncarpous condition. If all the carpels are free, apocarpous condition. So syncarpous, apocarpous, multicarpellary, monocarpellary or bicarpellary. Okay, so carpels can change, carpels can fuse, carpels can be free. Okay, so that is apocarpellary, syncarpous conditions. See here, see, multiple carpels, multicarpellary condition. Okay, now if you look at inside an ovule also, this is the entire structure is called as the ovule. Sorry, that is called as ovary. Inside ovary we have the ovules. Then there is a chamber here. Can you see this chamber is called as locule? This chamber here, right, is called as locule. And in the middle there is a cushion-like structure. Called as placenta. Now students, I want everyone to focus really, very important here. On top of placenta, or on the placenta, all the ovules are attached to the placenta. Can you see? All the ovules are attached to the placenta, joined to the placenta. Okay. So new families need 225. Okay. Because it is almost the same. There is a multiple names for each one of them. Okay. Sometimes it happens in botany, not scientific name. Okay. So new families needed for 2025 or not? It is needed, because right now what we are following is last year's syllabus itself. Because all of you are aware, this year the syllabus has not come out yet. All of you know, right? Until the final brochure comes out, we will not know the syllabus. So what you need to do right now is remember what we studied for NEET 2024. The same syllabus needs to be followed for NEET 2025 until now. Until we get a final official update from NTA that syllabus has been updated, families have changed. But right now you need to study the families. But I would advise you students, read the families till the very end. Okay. For example, if the brochure does not come by January, that time you do the families. Why? Because there is a very high chance that you'll forget families very easily. It's very high chance. Okay. So don't worry, us we'll make a small video on families which will help you to remember the entire family structure and everything, and also get good marks in that also. Don't worry, it's going to come up. Okay. Now students, there is something called as the free carpels, apocarpus, lotus, free carpus in the case of rose. Free carpels. Syncarpus in the case of tomato and mustard. Syncarpus condition. Examples. Now students, will go to placentation now. Ready? Can we start placentation now? Can we? I know all of you have learned once. I know all of you have learned on YouTube also. I have taught you a class. Okay. Go type Basavaraj Sir and type new families. You will get a video of mine where I have done the entire plant families in a very short duration of time, in 1 hour mostly, 1 hour. That'll help you out. Okay. Now we come to something called as your placentation. Placentation, very simple again, very easy also. Follow my lead and you will understand with the help of certain tricks to remember the examples. Can we start? Can we start, students? Now next concept is called as your placentation. Understand placentation. Okay. Now there is, what is placentation first of all? What exactly is placentation? Placentation is nothing but arrangement of ovules. Arrangement of ovules inside the ovary on the placenta. What is it, students? What is placentation? Placentation is nothing but arrangement of ovules. Arrangement of ovules over the placenta. Over the placenta inside the ovary. Inside the ovary is called as placentation. It is called as placentation. Okay. So arrangement of ovules, you see, arrangement of ovules over the, this is the middle part is called as placenta. Inside the ovary is called as your placentation. It is called as placentation. Beautiful. Now there is something called as marginal placentation. First one is called as marginal placentation, MP. MP. I'll tell you what is the meaning of MP. Okay. Marginal placentation. So in the case of marginal placentation, if this is the pea plant, if this is the pea pod, this is called as ventral suture. This is called as your ventral suture. On the ventral suture, on top of this ventral suture, we can see the arrangement of ovules. Arrangement of ovules. Can you see here? This is called as your ventral suture, and this is the placenta here. On top of placenta, we have the ovules arrangement. That is called as marginal placentation. And the example is called as your MP. What is MP, students? M stands for marginal, the M stands for marginal, and the P stands for P. Right here, diagram. So MP is the answer. Answer is what? MP. Marginal pea plant. Marginal pea plant. Okay, done. The next thing is called as parietal placentation. Parietal. Now, in the case of parietal placentation, what is happening? Understand very carefully. Now, can you see where are the ovules here? Where are the ovules? Ovules are on the outside. Ovules are on the outside. Now, students, there is one more term you know, right? Peripheral. The meaning of peripheral is outside. So, parietal, peripheral. Do they sound similar? Parietal, peripheral. PP. Parietal, peripheral. So, all the ovules are around the periphery, that is on the outside. Can you see here? Ovules are on the inner wall, on the outer periphery. On the outer periphery. And there is no septa formation, no cross wall, no cross wall in the starting stage. In the starting stage, if there is no cross wall right here, if there is no cross wall here, students, can I tell it as monolocule? Monoloculary, right? It is more single locule is there, single locule. Okay, single locule. But students, what exactly happens here? You need to understand here is this monoloculary eventually becomes bilocular. Now, in the starting stage, it looks like this. But after some time, there will be a septa formation. After some time, there will be a septa formation that is called as a false septum. False septum formation. False septum formation, that is called as a replum. That is called as replum. Replum formation happens. So, monolocule becomes bilocule later on. Now, students, what is the trick here, students? Trick is very simple. Parietal. Parents are masters. Parents are masters. Parents are masters. P stands for parietal placentation. Parietal placentation. A stands for argemone. A stands for argemone. M stands for mustard. M stands for mustard. So parietal placentation, argemone, and mustard. Three different examples. Other example is very simple. One more which people use is MAP. 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 That is mustard argemone parietal placentation. Parietal placentation. Very easy to understand. Okay. Next thing is called as axial placentation. Axial placentation. Axial placentation is similar to parietal. Axial placentation is similar to parietal, but there is septa formation here. Can you see here? Septa formation is, can you see? Septa formation is there. And every single time there is a septa formation, all the ovules are towards the center now, and the placenta also is towards the center. And here we usually have multilocular ovary. See, one locule, second locule, third locule, multiple locules. If you open a lemon, students, if you open a lemon, do you see in the middle? This. In the lemon, do you see something like this? Inside a lemon, do you see many chambers? Yes. Many chamber means many locules are there. Many locules are there. Okay. So here we generally have multilocular condition. Multilocular condition can be seen here. Okay. Now what is the trick here, students? The trick is very simple again. The trick is very simple. Axial placentation, allow China to leave. Allow China to leave. Allow China to leave. Now what is A stands for? Axial placentation. The A stands for axial placentation. C stands for your where is it? China rose. Where is it? No, there is. Yeah, China rose. China rose. T stands for tomato. Diagram was not given. China rose. I was finding the diagram of China rose, but it's not given. Tomato. L stands for lemon or lemon. It is allow China to leave. Axial placentation, China rose, tomato, and lemon. So that is a small trick here of your axial placentation. Next one is called as your, can you see, students, multilocular condition? Many locules, 1, 2, 3, 4, multiple locules are there. Yes, multiple locules are there. Here in the case of tomato also you can see multiple locules. Then you have free central. Then we have something called as free central. In the middle we have, no septa formation at all. Ovules are born central axis with no septa. Can you see? No septa formation. All the ovules are in the center. What is the trick here? Trick is simple. Fredo, change your DP, display picture. F stands for free central. D stands for dianthus, and P stands for primrose. Okay, Fredo, change your DP. Okay, Fredo, change your DP. Free central, dianthus, and primrose. Done, students. Very easy. Okay. Last one is called as basal placentation. In the basal placentation, a single ovule is present at the base. Okay, single ovule present at the base here. Okay, ovules develop at the base of the ovule. Trick is very simple again. That is, birds migrate south. All the birds are coming to south side now. What is B here? The B stands for your basal placentation. M stands for marigold. And S stands for sunflower. So marigold, sunflower, and basal placentation. These are 3 examples of basal placentation now. Okay, basal placentation examples. Okay, this is sunflower. Basal placentation in sunflower. Now, apart from that, they can always ask you the example of fruit also. Okay, fruit. The only example of type of fruit which is given in your NCERT is drupe. Drupe. Is your drupe. So remember drupe, you are good to go. Okay, this is the drupe. Okay. Now, apart from that, they can ask you seed also. Apart from that, they can also ask you the structure of seed. How does a seed look like? For example, this is your dicot seed. Here they can ask you what is the meaning of your cotyledons, the growing embryos. Yes, cotyledons is there. Here they can ask you about seed coat, testa and tegmen, endosperm. They can ask you not much. But the main question usually comes from the monocot seed. Monocot seed. Now here, students, I have always told this small trick here. The small trick here, which they usually ask the question is, the first thing they'll ask you is something called as your scutellum, a single cotyledon. Scutellum is a single large cotyledon, first point. Second thing they can ask you is the covering of plumule and covering of radicle. Radicle and plumule covering. Now, many students get confused here. Many students get confused between coleoptile and coleorhiza. Where will coleoptile come and where will coleorhiza come? All of you agree with me? So there is a small trick here. What is a small trick here? Let's write down first. Plumule. Plumule and radicle. Radicle. Then coleorhiza. Coleorhiza and coleoptile. Coleoptile. Now the best way to remember is, here we have P in plumule, here also have P in your coleoptile, R in radicle and R in coleorhiza. So coleorhiza is covering the radicle, coleoptile is covering the plumule. So that is a small trick to remember the different coverings for this particular question. So students, with that, today's class is over. Okay, and I hope this particular session was useful to all of you, because I wanted to keep a very short session which will help you to, short session, high marks. So let me know in the comment section if you want such more sessions on the channel, where we keep a short session but you get high output out of it, you get high marks out of it. And do you realize, from the small questions which we did till now, all the concepts which we learned, all the examples we learned and all the tricks we learned, many questions can come from here and you will never go wrong here now. Okay, the only thing which I won't tell you here is solve the questions with the help of tricks. Use the tricks, solve questions. Use the tricks, solve questions. Then only it is useful. Otherwise, nothing. So I'm telling you again, students, one more time, download the PDF. Download the entire PDF, students, because you will be getting the mind map. And where do you get the PDF, students? The PDF will be available on Telegram channel. Okay, it will be available on Telegram channel. Now students, your exam is coming very near. And I've been telling you almost every single class that please join a test series. I'm telling you, this is a very high time. Please join a test series. If you do not have the enough books right now, please get the books. I'm telling you honestly, if you do not solve enough of PYQs right now, if you do not solve enough of questions right now, it is going to be very difficult, very difficult, because this is the time where many students become very lazy, but not you. This is the point where you need to give extra focus attention to the question practice, because I know many of you finish the syllabus once or twice, but you're not solved enough of questions, and I believe. So buy a book which has many questions, physical book. When you buy a physical book, you can flip the pages and read the question yourself and answer, tick, 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 done. And always keep a OMR sheet next to you so you can have a practice of, circling also. Now, students, if you go to the link in the description right now, there is a link for joining the all-in test series. I'm telling you again, it is never too late. You can join the test series now also. Join a test series, solve questions as much as possible. Every single day, 100 questions. Every single 100 questions. The more the questions you solve, the more confidence you become. And every single time you're not able to solve a question, you know exactly where you need to revise and where you're going wrong. So solve the questions, you're going wrong. Repeat again, go revise. So students, promise me, after today's class, you will sit and solve questions of morphology. And any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section. I will personally reply to every single message and correct the answer. Okay. So with that being said, students, thank you so much for today's class. I loved it. Tricks is always fun to teach. Okay. So let me know in the comment section if you want more class like this, a numerical class it could be, a small revision of your C3 cycle, C4 cycle, a small revision for your Krebs cycle, glycolysis and electron transport chain, a small class for all the monocot versus dicot, monocot seed, monocot stem root and your leaf, dicot root stem and leaf. So I want to keep these short sessions high output for all of you. So let me know in the comment section which are the classes which you need, and thank you so much for today's class. Have a great day ahead. Take care all of you. Do not forget to let me know in the comment section what exactly you need. So bye bye. Take care all of you.